But others, they refuse to vanish, whispered in the dark, etched onto forgotten maps, carried on the wind like warnings from a world that remembers more than we do. Deep within ancient forests, beneath frozen seas, and beyond fog-covered moors, something stays. Creatures science refuses to name, but humanity has never stopped fearing. For centuries, sailors, hunters, villagers, and explorers have all spoken the same chilling words. I saw it. Their voices echo across generations, stories too detailed, too consistent, to simply ignore. This is a realm where myth bleeds into reality, where folklore collides with the unexplained. A world not written in science books, but whispered around campfires, hidden in old journals, and buried deep in the unknown. Today, we pull back the curtain. From ancient forest spirits that guard the wild, to serpents that haunt icy oceans, these are 7 cryptids that might be far more than legends. So, lock your doors, turn off the lights, and listen carefully, because what you're about to hear may change the way you see the world forever. 1. Bagwaja. Deep within the endless, whispering forests of North America, where mist curls through the trees like ancient breath, there is said to dwell a spirit older than time itself. The Ojibwe people call it Bagwaja, the wild man of the forest. It is not a creature you stumble upon. It is a force that chooses whether or not to let itself be seen. Long before a single European boot touched this land, the Ojibwe told stories around flickering campfires of a being that lives in the shadows between man and nature. Neither fully human nor beast, Bagwaja is described as a towering, humanoid figure, covered head to toe in coarse, dark hair, with glowing eyes that burn through the night. But unlike Bigfoot, Bagwaja is far more than a flesh and blood creature. It is a guardian spirit, a judge, and sometimes a punisher. The legend warns that the spirit does not harm without reason. It reveals itself only to those who disrespect the land, the hunter who kills beyond need, the traveler who pollutes sacred waters, or the greedy who take without offering back to nature. It is said Bagwaja watches silently from the tree line, its presence felt before it's ever seen. A sudden drop in temperature, a cold wind that seems to breathe down your neck, and whispers that have no source. These are its calling cards. Eyewitnesses over the centuries have described low, rhythmic chanting, trees rustling with no breeze, and footprints far too large to belong to any human. Some claim to have caught a glimpse of a massive figure slipping between the shadows, moving with unnatural silence. Many believe Bagwaja is not bound by physical form. It is a shapeshifter, able to appear as man, beast, or spirit, adapting to whatever form instills the most fear or awe. Anthropologists have found strikingly similar wild man stories in nearly every indigenous culture on Earth, suggesting something far older than myth may be at play. Could Bagwaja be a shared memory of a forgotten encounter, a guardian from a time when humans feared the wild more than they conquered it? Or is it still out there, hiding in the forest, watching us, and waiting for the moment we take too much? 2. Lake Milestone Monster. Far beneath the icy, steel-blue waters of Lake Milestone in Sweden, locals say something ancient is stirring. On cold, mist-draped nights, when the lake lies still as glass and fog swallows the moonlight, whispers begin to rise, whispers of a creature that has haunted these waters for generations. They call it simply the Lake Milestone Monster. The earliest known account dates all the way back to the 18th century, when a group of fishermen returned to shore pale and shaken. They claimed they had seen something massive moving just below the surface, a serpent-like body, sleek and dark, rippling through the water with unnerving grace. What terrified them most was its horse-shaped head, cutting through the fog like a living nightmare. Whatever it was, it didn't move like any fish they knew. It glided too fast, too smooth, too deliberate. Over the centuries, the legend only grew. In 1954, a group of tourists enjoying a peaceful boat ride on the lake reported seeing something enormous rise near them, its long, sinuous body arching above the water before silently slipping back into the depths. Some witnesses compared it to a prehistoric sea creature, perhaps a plesiosaur, a species thought to have died out millions of years ago. Others believe it to be a guardian spirit of the lake, punishing anyone who dares disturb its sacred waters. Though skeptics dismiss the monster as myth, sonar scans and underwater surveys have told a different story. Multiple studies have recorded unexplained, massive movements deep within the lake. far larger than any known species of fish in the region. No body has ever been found. No conclusive evidence has surfaced. But those who've seen it swear they will never forget the feeling of that cold, silent presence just beneath their boat. What exactly hides beneath the surface of Lake Mileston? A forgotten creature from Earth's ancient past, a supernatural guardian, or something we are not meant to understand. Whatever it is, it's waiting in the darkness beneath the still waters for the next foggy night to rise again. Free, Ningen. Imagine this. You're standing on the deck of a ship surrounded by the endless, frozen wilderness of the Antarctic. The night is silent except for the distant cracking of ice. Suddenly, from the black depths beneath your vessel, something enormous and pale white begins to move. At first, it looks like drifting ice, but then it shifts slowly, deliberately, like something alive. That's what a number of Japanese research vessels reportedly experienced in the 2000s. The crew gave it a chilling name, Ningen, a Japanese word meaning human. But this was no human. Witnesses described a ghostly white figure, smooth and almost featureless, stretching over 20 meters long. Its body resembled that of a colossal marine creature, but its limbs, long, human-like arms and legs, gave it an unsettling familiarity. Some accounts say the creature had broad fins where its arms should have been. Blurry photographs and shaky videos began appearing online, sparking an explosion of conspiracy theories. Some claim the Japanese government and research agencies were covering up evidence, refusing to release official footage. Others whispered that the Ningen wasn't an animal at all, but something far more intelligent, maybe even something not from this world. Scientists, of course, offer more grounded explanations, perhaps a newly discovered marine mammal or misidentified giant sea creature. But believers argue that Antarctica is the least explored continent on Earth, hiding secrets beneath its freezing waters that humanity has barely begun to uncover. The Ningen, they say, may not just be another cryptid. It could be a living enigma, a creature that blurs a line between the natural and the unknown. And while the official record remains silent, the icy depths keep their secrets well. 4. Thylacine. Unlike many cryptids born from whispers and folklore, the thylacine, better known as a Tasmanian tiger, was once undeniably real. This carnivorous marsupial prowled the wilds of Australia and Tasmania, with bold stripes across its back, a powerful, bone-crushing jaw, and a howl so chilling it was said to echo through the night like a cry from another world. For centuries, the thylacine was a dominant predator in its environment, but human fear and greed became its greatest enemy. Branded a menace to livestock, it was relentlessly hunted and trapped until the population was wiped out. In 1936, the last known thylacine died in captivity at the Hobart Zoo. Officially, the species was declared extinct. But extinction is not always the end of the story. Since its disappearance, hundreds of reported sightings have surfaced from remote regions of Tasmania and mainland Australia. Farmers have claimed to see a striped creature stalking their sheep at dusk. Hikers have spoken of shadowy figures slipping silently between the trees. In the dead of night, some even swear they heard that same haunting howl, a sound no other creature can quite replicate. Blurry photographs, grainy footage, and mysterious paw prints have continued to emerge decade after decade. So persistent are the reports that scientists and wildlife experts have launched official investigations to determine if the thylacine truly vanished, or if a small, hidden population still roams the wilderness, far from human eyes. The thylacine story is different from that of other cryptids. It's not just a legend. It's a creature we once knew, a predator that walked beside us in living memory. And maybe it still does. This mystery isn't just about one animal. It's about how little we truly control nature, and how the wild is a way of outlasting us, no matter how sure we are of its end. 5. Tiger.Australia. In the endless sands of the Middle Eastern deserts, where scorching winds whisper secrets of forgotten kingdoms, there's a name that has echoed through legend for centuries, Tiger.Australia, which translates to the healer of the tiger. Unlike most cryptids born from fear, this creature stands at the mysterious crossroads of power, wisdom, and divine protection. Ancient stories describe Tiger.Australia as no ordinary beast. It is said to be part lion, part supernatural guardian, a majestic and terrifying presence at once. Its eyes shine like molten gold, burning through the darkness of night. Its menere glows like fire, casting an unearthly light across the sand. And when it roars, The very earth trembles beneath its feet, as though the desert itself is listening. According to centuries-old Arabic manuscripts, Tabib-ul-Baba is not a mindless predator but a keeper of balance between man and nature. Hunters who step into the wild with respect and humility are said to feel a warm, unseen presence, the creature's silent blessing. But those who act with cruelty, taking more than they need, often vanish without a trace. Their disappearance, elders say, is a work of the desert's guardian. Some modern cryptozoologists believe these legends may have been inspired by encounters with an undiscovered or now hidden species of giant feline in the region, a relic of the distant past. Others whisper that this creature is something far more ancient and supernatural, a spirit that walks a line between the physical and the divine, protecting the wild from human greed. The line between myth and reality has always been razor-thin in these lands. And legends like Tabib-ul-Baba may not just be stories. They could be memories, echoes of something real that once stalked the dunes and jungles, and perhaps still does. 6. Cadborosaurus Willsi. Far off the rugged coastline of British Columbia, where icy winds lash against towering cliffs and mist rolls over dark waters, sailors have whispered the same story for generations. A creature unlike any other moves silently beneath the waves, long, elegant, and impossibly ancient. They call it Cadborosaurus Willsi, or simply Caddy. Witnesses describe a colossal sea serpent, stretching between 40 and 60 feet, 12 to 18 meters, in length, and rising roughly 6 to 10 feet, 2 to 3 meters, above the water when its upper body emerges. Its head resembles that of a horse, with a long serpentine neck that slices effortlessly through the ocean swells. The creature's coiled body rolls above the surface in smooth, rhythmic motions, like a serpent dancing with the sea itself. Its haunting grace has both terrified and mesmerized those who've seen it. The legend of Caddy isn't new. It's etched deep into local maritime history. The earliest sightings date back to Cadboro Bay, from which the creature takes its name. Over the years, more than 300 documented encounters have poured in from fishermen, naval officers, commercial pilots, and coastal villagers. Each account tells a chillingly similar story, as if everyone is describing the same silent guardian of the deep. One of the most compelling moments in Caddy's history came in 1937, when a group of whalers claimed to have pulled a mysterious serpent-like carcass from the stomach of a whale. They photographed their shocking discovery, but the images vanished over the years, fueling endless conspiracy theories and government cover-up rumors. What exactly did they find that day? Skeptics argue that most sightings are misidentified whales, basking sharks, or massive oarfish. But others, especially marine cryptozoologists, point to the uncanny consistency in the creature's description. How can so many different witnesses across decades describe the same shape, same movement, same serpentine grace? Some believe Cadborosaurus could be a living fossil, a remnant of a prehistoric species thought to have vanished millions of years ago. If true, Caddy would not just be a legend, but a survivor of an ancient world still lurking beneath the cold Pacific waves. Perhaps the next time a fishing boat drifts through the fog of Cadboro Bay, something vast will rise from the water, and history will no longer be able to deny its existence. 7. Beast of Bodmin Moor, U.K. In the mist-shrouded highlands of Cornwall, where cold winds whistle across the barren moors and ancient stones sleep beneath centuries of fog, something moves silently through the night. Locals call it the Beast of Bodmin Moor, a predator that has haunted the countryside for more than half a century. The first whispers began in the 1970s, when farmers awoke to find livestock slaughtered in strange, brutal ways. Throats torn open, claw marks carved deep into wooden fence posts and tree trunks. And on the damp soil of Bodmin, massive feline paw prints, far larger than anything belonging to a known wildcat in the United Kingdom. Eyewitnesses describe a sleek, black panther-like creature moving with a grace and silence that feels almost supernatural. It's said to run faster than the human eye can follow, melting into the fog like a living shadow. To some, it's a rogue big cat. To others, it's something far older, a guardian or hunter born of the land itself. Theories abound. Some suggest the beast originated from escaped exotic pets, illegally owned and released into the wild after the 1976 Dangerous Wild Animals Act forced owners to give up their animals. Others believe it's a small, hidden population of big cats that adapted to the wild, thriving in secret on Cornwall's desolate moors. In the 1990s, The British Ministry of Agriculture launched an official investigation, combing the moors for hard evidence. Their conclusion? No verifiable proof of a big cat population. But they also added something chilling. No disproof either. That single statement sent shockwaves across the nation. If there was no evidence and no disproof, then what exactly is stalking Bodmin Moor? Today, the beast has become a modern British legend, appearing in blurry photographs, late-night news reports, and whispered local tales. Campers claim to hear low growls echoing in the mist, and hikers swear they've seen glowing eyes watching them from the tree line. Whether it's a hidden predator or something far more mysterious, the beast of Bodmin Moor reminds us that even in the modern world, the wild still holds secrets we can't explain. Bagwajiwanini, the Lake Milesgen monster, Ningen, Thylacine, Tabibol Barber, Cadborosaurus, the beast of Bodmin Moor, whispered in the dark, feared in silence, and remembered through generations. Across oceans, forests, and deserts, these names echo like the heartbeat of something ancient, something waiting just beyond the edge of what we understand. Maybe they are just myths, stories told around campfires to keep the night alive. But maybe, just maybe, they are fragments of the truth we've chosen to look away from. Cryptozoology isn't about proving or disproving. It's about daring to ask the questions science isn't ready to face. It's about exploring that thin, fragile line between reality and legend, and realizing how little we truly know about the world beneath our feet. So the next time you walk through a forest at night or stare out at a dark, endless ocean, remember, some legends don't live in the past. They are still out there, waiting to be found. Which of these mysterious creatures do you believe is real? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more deep dives into the world of the unknown.